Cheers, guys. Epix 911, welcome to the Thursday, March 30th, 2017 edition of VR News. Going to start the news with a big story, a bang of a story. Palmer Luckey, no longer an employee at Oculus, Facebook. For many of us, I don't think this comes as a surprise. It certainly didn't come as a surprise to me. I've got some thoughts on it. We're going to talk about those in a second. But yeah, for many of us, I think it was just a matter of when, not if. Well, when was today? And the official statement reads as follows. Palmer will be dearly missed. Palmer's legacy extends far beyond Oculus. His inventive spirit helped kickstart the modern virtual reality revolution and helped build an industry. We are thankful for everything he did for Oculus and VR, and we wish him all the best. Now, generally with news stories, opinion is irrelevant. The story is the story, and you tell it. But I think this one does deserve just a little bit of digging into, and I will offer kind of my thoughts on it, which you may agree or disagree with, and that's absolutely valid. On that topic of expecting this, like I said, I think a lot of people did expect this after the events in the fall, whether right or wrong, whatever the reason, it happened, and his profile went extremely low, like incognito, witness protection low. He wasn't spotted at Oculus events. He didn't attend Connect 3, which is a huge event for Oculus, and definitely delivered a statement by his absence. Even though guys like Ruben, tried to say otherwise, it was pretty clear to most people. You're looking at that from the outside. It's apparent he doesn't have long. Now, in terms of credit, because I've heard this argued back and forth today, my own personal take on his legacy is this. I don't think he was necessarily a technical guru. I don't think he was a strong technical person at all. I do think he had a certain vision, but I'm going to be careful and not call him a visionary, but I think he had a vision for virtual reality. And I will absolutely extend to him and my passion of virtual reality. A big chunk of the ecosphere that we have today is because he brought it back to the public consciousness. Now, let me rephrase that. To the gaming consciousness, not the public. We're still working on that. And we got a ways to go. But certainly in terms of the techies and the gamers, yeah, he did absolutely bring virtual reality back to the forefront through the Kickstarter. And then there was a lot of stuff said about openness. Then there were things about politics. And there's two sides to absolutely everything. I love that analogy. How does it go? There's version A, or one person's version, the other person's version, and then the truth, right? And I'm sure that applies here. So while I don't think I'm going to give him the label of, visionary genius, I'm certainly going to give him his due in terms of revitalizing virtual reality. I think that's fair. Is he going to disappear into the shadows? Well, Forbes estimates he's worth about $700 million. I don't think he's going to disappear into the shadows. I think he's going to do what he enjoys doing, and maybe we're going to see him with something else virtual reality related. And I think the lesson here for him, and it's a lesson that not all entrepreneurs can follow, and it usually leads to them becoming the architects of their own demise, is a lot of times entrepreneurs are really good at the idea of the business. They are good at making that idea a reality, but they're not good at the business of the idea. And smart entrepreneurs step back and let others lead. It's almost kind of like that sports team owner analogy. They love their team, but they're smart enough to recognize that they probably shouldn't be running the day-to-day operations. That should be knowledgeable people in that sport. So whatever Palmer does, that would be my guess. And my hope would be he would kind of follow that same rule, do what he does best, and stay out of the rest. And I did not mean for that to rhyme. But there you have it. That's my take. But I don't think this matters one friggin' iota for Oculus or Facebook. Not at all. I don't think him leaving is going to be detrimental. All right. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are on that. Very curious. Next story, Microsoft. We're kind of on an HR human resource theme here. Microsoft hires head of marketing from Oculus in a continuance of their mixed reality buildup. So they've just hired Liz Hamron, and Liz was the Oculus chief marketing officer. So she's going to join Microsoft as their corporate vice president of mixed reality marketing. Quite the mouthful. She's going to be reporting directly to Yusuf Mehdi, who is the head of marketing for the Windows and Devices group at Microsoft. Now, he issued the following internal email on this. One of the biggest bets Microsoft is making for the future of computing is the development of a new world of mixed reality, led in large part by our pioneering work on Microsoft HoloLens. We have been on this journey from the unveil of HoloLens back in January 2015 to the announcement from our OEM partners of the first headsets capable of mixed reality last October, to the release of the first Windows 10 mixed reality dev kits this month. As we gear up for this coming holiday, we enter a new phase of bringing mixed reality to everyone. And then, of course, enters the announcement of the hire. So according to Yusuf's statement, that falls in line with that broad strategy. Next story, Haptics Project H2L sells shares to Sony Innovation, raising over $1.7 million. These guys had a Kickstarter, and it was a successful Kickstarter on a haptic device that really hasn't got a lot of press. Now, the company is called Happy Hacking Life, H2L, and they've got a video out for that original Kickstarter video. It also kind of doubles as a product demo video for Unlimited Hand, which is the product that Sony was mostly supporting and why they invested the $1.7 million. Unlimited Hand is basically put at the mid of the forearm. It's like an armband. Goes on the forearm, and it senses the muscle twitches for various finger and hand movements and reacts accordingly. So it's twofold. It results in animation, in-game or experience that mirrors the user's finger movements, but it also provides a haptic feedback to allow the user to feel the sense of touch for an in-game or in-experience object. So it's kind of twofold, and that's pretty cool. Nothing complicated about this other than the fact that it's attached to the forearm. Now, there are probably implications there. Just off the top of my head, I can think of people who are very obese, very large, maybe with a lot of fat storage. And if this is a crack, guys, I'm definitely not morbidly obese. A little chunky, yes, but I can assure you a sensor would be able to register my twitches. But there are probably those arms where it can't. And I don't know what they do in a case like that. But I would imagine that it's very sensitive, and it should be the exception, not the rule, for that happening, where it can't read twitches. So very cool. Have a look at that video. That is the type of haptic feedback. When I picture something that I would be using myself, that would be my preference. Something that doesn't have a lot of bulk, heft, or cover you up, right? So looks good, looks promising. Let's hope it leads to something. Now, next story has to do with Nyko and their Charge Block. These guys are known for all kinds of console gaming peripherals. Chargers, cases, extended batteries, lots of different things. This is their Charge Block, and it's a review that was put up on UploadVR, and I'm just going to kind of give my take on this. So what this does is it provides two docks for the PlayStation 4 controllers, the Move controllers, and charges them. Because it's a Nyko product, it adheres to the same expansion strategy that the other charging blocks do, but with a limitation of just adding one. So you can add one additional charging block. That could be for a DualShock 4, for example. So you could have both of the VR controllers plus a DualShock 4, and you'd be good to go. That's 3 devices. Now, me personally, my opinion on that, I'm not a huge fan of those blocking stations. I think they are cumbersome. They take up desktop real estate when they don't need to. I think you're much better off functionality-wise and for other uses to just get a powered USB hub. 4 to 8 ports and some micro cables, and you're good to go. You can charge all your devices instead of picking and choosing and having a block for each different type. But if you're interested, guys, there's a link there. You can find this on Amazon. Again, it's the Nyko Charge Block. Next story, Samsung suggesting again high-powered standalone VR headsets to compete with the Rift and the Vive. It's an interesting position for them to be in because they have that alliance going, obviously, with Oculus for the Gear VR. But shouldn't stop them from wanting to have their own device, just as Oculus has the Rift as their own device. Now, just before the launch of the Galaxy S8, Lee Young-hee, who is the Executive Vice President of Global Marketing for Samsung Mobile, he confirmed that a standalone headset is still under construction. And we've heard them say this multiple times in 2016. There was a report by PC World that prototype headsets were shown behind closed doors at a Barcelona event showcasing the performance of their new 10-nanometer Exynos 9 chips. And In-Jong Ri in April 2016, he's the head of research and development, also confirmed the development of a standalone VR headset. So that was at the outset of the year. It was mentioned throughout the year, and now it's mentioned again. No other details. Speculation. Is it going to be tethered? Is it untethered? We won't know until they provide more details. But interesting that yet another company is working on a headset. It's going to get really, really cluttered. And some of them are going to start falling to the wayside. It is inevitable. You introduce that much saturation, something's got to give. Now, this last story, guys, I just thought was awesome. Just really freaking cool. It serves a dual purpose for me. It is a fantastic marketing tool for virtual reality. And it's also freaking cute as hell. And what I'm talking about is, and this was on UploadVR, Ostrich learns to fly in a new Gear VR ad. So it's this ostrich. He's poking around some rancher homestead, eating food left out on a patio table when he accidentally gets a Gear VR put onto his head, through his kind of greed at wanting to get at the food, and promptly teaches himself to fly. It is just a really cool commercial. It's about 1:18 or 1:40 seconds. Those are the two numbers that stand out. But just, in my opinion, a really good way of marketing virtual reality. Well done. All right, guys, that is it for the news. Interested on your opinions on that big news story today. What's your take on it? Like me, are you apathetic about it? Could care less? Or do you, are you super against it or super for it? Let me know in the comments below. As always, guys, cheers.